I made these wedding fans a year ago, but today I'm going to show you how to recreate it. This video is meant to be a guide to inspire you. You can follow my design or use the tips to create your own wedding masterpiece. Let's open up Cricut Design Space. First, head over to Shapes and choose the square with the round edges. Let's unlock the dimensions and set it to 6.81 for the width, and the height will set 8.17. To make it easier to see against your background, consider changing the color white or gray. This will help you follow along more easily as we create your beautiful hand fan. I decided to save ink by using a white background. Next, head over to Images and search for leaf. I've uploaded the SVG file for this design and included the link in the description box below. Click Add to Canvas. You will resize the width of this image to 6 inches to perfectly fit on your hand fan. Next, let's create the borders for our fan. Head over to Shapes and choose Rectangle. Resize it to fully cover the leaves on the top portion of the SVG. With both the leaf SVG and the rectangle selected, click the Slice button and delete the excess. Now for the top border. Unlock the measurements and resize the image to 1.5 inches in height. You will repeat the same process for the bottom leaf border. Select the bottom SVG, unlock the measurements and type in 1.5 inches in height. Then select the fan back and the tropical SVGs and group them together. In the Layers tab, select the fan back and the bottom leaf SVG. Click Align, then Center, and Align Bottom. Next, select the top SVG and fan back. Go to Align, click Center, and Align Top. This will give us a perfectly aligned borders with the fan back. Now let's add a personal touch to the fan. Click on the text button and type in Best Day Ever. Don't worry about my typo here. I'll fix it in just a moment. Next, go to the font section and under System, you'll find Bella Rosemary font. I provided a free download link for this font in the description box below. Here's a quirky thing that I discovered with my previous fan. The font sizes were different when I tried to recreate it. Has this ever happened to you? You'll notice what I mean when I resize Best Day Ever. I checked my original template to find the font size, which was around 55. After entering the font size, I changed the color to pink to match my wedding accent color. Next, click on Operation and select Print and Cut. You can design your entire fan without changing each text operation to print and cut right away. To speed up your process, you can do the entire thing at the very end when you flatten it. Doing so as we go along helped me visualize my design better in Cricut. Next, I noticed the font was slightly smaller, so I visually resized it against the template, which the resizing came out to 64. Click on the text button and remember to add the Best Day Ever text line to the group in the Layers bar. Then select the text button and type in Of. I decided to type that next because it's already in the same font that is selected, and then resize it to 60. Click on the text button and type in the bride and groom's name. Then go to the font section and under System Fonts, select Anatomia. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Resize the text to 48. Next, select another text box and change the font to Lucida Sans Unicode, which is a standard font on most computer systems. Type in Welcome to the Wedding and resize it to 25. Use the curve button and set it to 45. I made sure all my other text was selected in the color black. and rearrange your spacing as you go. Then select another text box and resize it to 19 and type in the date of the wedding. I included the date and location as a potential keepsake for our guests. Please excuse my computer for freaking out over the letter P. I'm sure when you use it, it won't do it. It didn't happen to me the first time. Duplicate this text box and type in the location. Resize the text to 14. Then select everything on the fan front, click on the Align button, and select Center horizontally. Make any minor adjustments with spacing using the Y-axis. Once you're satisfied, move the layers into the main group. I recommend duplicating the template. This will keep everything together as a future template for any adjustments you may need. Select the entire group and click Flatten. This will automatically prepare it for print and cut. Hide the fan front, and now let's focus on creating the back of the program. Go back to your template and duplicate the fan base so it matches. Now hide the fan front template. Select the text button. Since the font is still set to Lucida, type in Garden Gazebo, as it's the same font style. Then change the size to 20. As a reminder, at the very end, you can select everything and flatten it out to automatically set it to print and cut, saving you time. For my font colors on the back, I used black, pink, and green. Duplicate it 4 times. Change the text to Bridesmaid, Groomsmen, Oceanside Terrace, and Sky Terrace. Obviously, write in wherever your destinations for cocktail hour and reception will be. Then rearrange the titles to approximately where you'd like them to be. Then select the bottom 2 titles, go over to Align, and click Center vertically. Repeat for the top. Select them both, go over to Align, and click Center vertically. Select Garden Gazebo, click Duplicate, and type your bridesmaids' names in the same text box. Since it's already a group, you'll want equal spacing, and it'll save you some time. Then resize to 15.5. Repeat this same process for the groomsmen. Duplicate the bridesmaids' names and enter your groomsmen's names. Now go back to the text button, or just duplicate it. Type in ceremony. Go to the font and change it to Bella Rosemary. Resize it to 45. Then change the font color to pink. Duplicate your text and type Cocktail Hour. Resize it to 31. Then duplicate Cocktail Hour and type in Reception, changing the color back to pink. I chose to duplicate Ocean Terrace because it's the same font as my message below in Lucida. Resize it to 13. Get a new text box and type in Thank You. Change the font to Michelle Garden and resize it to 42. Duplicate the thank you text and type in Wedding Party. Then change the color to green. Now let's format where you want the text to be on your fan. Select Ceremony, Garden Gazebo, Wedding Party, Thank You, Message to Guests, and the fan back. Go to Align and click Align horizontally. With the layer selected, click Attach. Then drag the attached layer to the bottom of your project. Next, select the layers in the left column and group them together. I'm going to rename the group L. Repeat for the right column. Select the layers on the right side, click Group, and label it R. I like things to be in order, so I'm going to rearrange the layers in each group, but that's totally optional. To format the columns, go to Shapes and select Rectangle. Resize the width to be half of the width of your fan and change the height to about the same height as your fan. I made the rectangle gray for contrast so you can see how I format it better. Select your gray layer and fan back, then go to Align, click Align Left, and then Center Vertical. Next, drag the gray layer into the attached group with the fan back. Select the gray layer and the layers in the L group, then go to Align and click Align Horizontally. Select the gray layer and the fan back again. Go to Align and click Align Right. Highlight the gray layer and the R group layers, then go to Align and click Center Horizontally. Now you can delete or just hide your gray layer. I pulled the groups into the attached one and labeled it Fan Back. Remember to keep one as a template. Duplicate the entire attached group and then choose one to be flattened. Here's a helpful assembly hack. Since I'm making 30 of these, I wanted to make the process go faster when assembling. I created a glue template that will show how deep the stick will go and where it will be centered on the fan. All you need to do is duplicate your fan base and hide the fan back so we can focus on your glue template. Then go to Shapes and click Rectangle. We're going to resize this so it's slightly wider than your fan stick and half the height of it. For me, it came out to 4 inches in height and about 1.15 inch in width. Then select both layers. Go to Align, click Center, and Align Bottom. Then click Slice and delete the excess. For optional fun, you can add in writing glue template. Make sure to select both layers and click Attach. Last minute, I decided to just flatten the glue template to make it a print and cut as well. It'll make the project go faster. Unhide the fan back and front, and now we are able to go make it. For each mat, you're going to follow the same set of rules. You'll first go to Continue, and then you will send the project to your printer. I don't need to use the Add Bleed function for this since I have a white background, and I do prefer to use my printer settings. On my actual printer, I have it set up for cardstock and for it to specifically get the paper from the rear tray. Since this cardstock is thick, you want it to go in as straight as possible. You don't want it to feed in from the cassette and fold and possibly bend when it's being printed on. Then I set my Cricut settings to medium cardstock. Place your paper on a green standard grip mat and then use a brayer or scraper to flatten everything out. First, your Cricut is going to read the registered lines on each of the 4 corners. Then it will understand where your project is within the paper and cut it out. The great thing about this is that it's super easy to weed. Then you just have to flip the mat over to peel it away from the paper, so it helps keep your original design flat. Now it's time to assemble everything together. I'm recommending starting with the fan back. Place it down and place your glue template on top of it. Make sure all the corners are lined up. This is going to guide where to place your stick onto the fan back. I like to use tacky glue. Put a generous but a thin amount of glue onto the fan back because you don't want the cardstock to fully absorb it and show it on the other side. Now take the fan stick and gently and carefully center it within the glue template opening. Press it down and hold it there just for a few seconds. Then carefully remove the glue template from the project without moving your fan stick. When gluing the fan back, I like to place a very thin amount, super close to the edge, about 1/8 of an inch away. Do the full perimeter and make just a few lines within the fan back as well, remembering that this is cardstock, so you still don't want to oversaturate it and have it show up on the other side. Now take the fan front and gently place it on top. Make sure to line up all your corners and gently smooth the glue out onto the fan. I like to first press it down by hand and then use a scraper to smooth in any of the glue bumps. Work from the outside going into it so you don't press any of the glue out between the two papers. Repeat that process for as many guests as you have attending, and you'll get the hang and find ways to multitask with it along the way. It's been so incredible to craft DIY touches for my wedding. Adding these personal handmade elements has truly made the experience more magical and meaningful. I love that I get to share a piece of my heart with my husband and all our guests.